Yom Tov, it's Yud Alef Nissan, Tov Pei Alef. We're entering the 120th year, Gewaldik, of the Rebbe's Yom Haledes. The Rebbe was born April 18th, 1902. Yud Alef Nissan, Tov Samach Beis and Nikolayev. And he was born on a Friday. Why is that significant that he was born on a Friday? So the Rebbe once told he didn't tell him, his aide, Rebbe Sholem Ber Gansburg, who would help in the Rebbe's house with different chores, and he helped the Rebbe in Chaya Mushka. And once he was with the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was pacing back and forth, and he was like talking out loud to himself. And he overheard the Rebbe say, Ich bin allemal verspätigt. I'm always delayed. I'm not paraphrasing the exact words. I'm sorry, I'm not quoting the words exactly, but paraphrasing them. Ich bin geboren geworden Freitag. I was born on a Friday. Und Freitag ist man allemal spät, weil Shabbos kommt. Und man ist allemal, in a rush. Shabbos is coming, so Friday, the nature of Friday is everyone is rushing. Even whether Friday is a short Friday or a long Friday, the winter or the summer, makes no difference. You'll see people always rushing and nervous. And Baruch Hashem, it's Shabbos. Shabbos is coming. But the Rebbe was lamenting the fact that things are delayed. And he went on and he continued speaking about saying the things that Rabbi Gansburg didn't want to hear and didn't agree in a way. And he commented to the Rebbe in a respectful way. And he said, but the Rebbe doch aufgetan, as I feel the Rebbe accomplished so much with the Younger Light, with Lubavitch Chassidim and Chabad houses and Shluchim. And the Rebbe said, Azoi, really? Azoi is good. If so, it's good. In other words, Gansburg's words appeased the Rebbe. This is recorded in his Sefer B'Kodesh Pnima, and I was told by another one of the Shamoshim of the Rebbe's aides that Gansburg's words and recording and saying over the stories are the most accurate out of all the others. This was told over by another aide in the Rebbe's house. So I think it's something we could believe. And what's the meaning of this? It's Yud Alef Nissan. It's time for reflection. That's what the Rebbe says in the Hayom Yom. It's a time of his Yechidus. Chabad is not into his Yechidus. Isolation, meditative isolation. That's the Avodah of Breslov, as you'll get a chance to read in my new upcoming book called Breslov and Chabad. But the Avodah of Chabad, the Chabad approach, is hisbonenus, meditation. Nevertheless, the Rebbe says on Yud Alef Nissan, on his own Yom Haledes, his own birthday, that it's a time for his Yechidus. A person should take time to reflect how his year was and what can he do to make it better in the future, the upcoming year. So if the Rebbe writes this about himself, surely his Chassidim, it's a lesson for us to do the same thing, because we live with the Rebbe's Yom Haledes. So we need to make a cheshbon hanefesh of what we did from last Yud Alef Nissan to this Yud Alef Nissan, and what more we can do in an improved way for the upcoming year till Yud Alef Nissan. One of the other great lessons that we learn from the Rebbe in a human, personal way is his respect that he had for his parents. And in particular, we saw this with his mother, The Rebbetzin Chana, the Rebbe's mother, came here in the mid-1950s. She passed away in 1964, and the Rebbe would visit her every day. And there are many stories told of the great respect that he showed for her. He would never turn his back on her. He would walk out of the apartment, 1418 President Street, from our apartment backwards. When his brother Label passed away in 1952, he arranged for letters to be sent to her that seemed to be from Label, although he already passed away, and the Rebbe wrote the letters so that she would not think that her son passed on. And he did many things throughout the years for the honor of his mother, of course, the Farbrengen Vov Tishrei's mother's Yahrtzeit, from that year, from 64 on. And what we understand from this is how much a son, a daughter, should respect a parent. Kibud Avim, it's not an easy mitzvah. It's probably one of the hardest mitzvahs. Why? Because it's a mitzvah bein adam lechaveiroi. It's not a mitzvah bein adam lemokim. It's not a mitzvah between God, man and God, but man and man. And it requires the humanity, and the humanity is frail, and the humanity is selfish, and the humanity is such that as much as you love your parents, your mother, your father, you have a wife, you have children, you have work, you have friends, and all kinds of reasons and excuses end up being the priority. The Rebbe did not let that be. The Rebbe, I think we all would say, was busier than we are, and definitely busier with more important things than we are. The whole world was on his shoulders. Kipshutai. Literally, not just figuratively, but the Rebbe worried about every Yid, as we see from his letters and his Farbrengens and the videos and the dollars when he spoke to people. It's public information if you're just interested and open to knowing the truth. It's the facts. And this Lubavitcher Rebbe, whose birthday is on Yud Alef Nissan, what does he highlight? Kibud Avim. And I say this because my mother of blessed memory, Miriam Bas Chaim Yaakov, passed on 15 years ago on the same day, Yud Alef Nissan. And I saw this with my mother, how she honored her mother. They were survivors. They came from Poland. They miraculously survived the war. There's many details. Last December, I had a chance to visit the place of her birth. It was a little place called Makov, a little city, and then a little village called Krasnoshilts. It's about 25 minutes or so out of Warsaw. And it was an eye-opening experience. And I actually found the original birth certificate and my grandmother's marriage certificate. And she was married by Rabbi Zilberberg, who was the son-in-law of Reb Don Plutsky. And I actually saw the shul that survived the Nazi bombardment in Krasnoshilts, and that was very, very moving. When my grandmother was in her older age and she wasn't well, she would lie on the couch in this house here in Borough Park, where I live today. And she fell asleep, and my mother didn't want that her mother should roll off the couch and onto the floor and maybe hurt herself. So my mother would lay down at night right by the edge of the couch, so in case her mother falls, she'll fall on my mother. That's Kibud Avim. That's Kibud Aim. That's great respect. So on a day like Alef Nissan, which of course for us Chassidim, it's the Yom HaBohir with a Hey. It's the day of brilliance, the day of illumination, the day of radiance, of light. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed his nation by sending such a holy neshama into the world. Alef Nissan Tafrei Samach Beis, April 18th, 1902. And today, entering 120 years later, we have to know that the significance of 120 is a milestone. We wish everyone, das Leben bis 120, you should live to 120, right? It's not just a number. It represents a cycle. It represents a cycle that we've gone through every possible situation. And now begins a new cycle. What's the new cycle? The Mashiach cycle. And this indeed was the Rebbe's objective and his goal and his desire. And it hasn't finished. And that's why I tell my friends and I tell everyone, the Rebbe's alive. What do you mean the Rebbe's alive? Of course, the Rebbe passed away physically, Gimel Tammuz, 1994. But his mission is alive. And if his mission is alive, he is alive. What's his mission? To bring Mashiach. Is Mashiach here yet? Not yet. So b'meila, therefore, it's up to us to continue that mission. And we do continue that mission. Another thing that the Rebbe showed all the years during having Yechidus, and this also I heard from my mother. My mother went into Yechidus once with the Rebbe, and she had an issue that she discussed with him. And by the way, my mother was raised in Costa Rica. After the war, they came to Costa Rica, and she spoke Spanish. And the Rebbe told her, you can speak to me in Spanish, I understand. He answered her in Yiddish, which she understood, and she spoke, but she spoke Spanish better. She can express herself better. And she had an issue. It happened to be with me when I was a young boy. And she was concerned. And it was an issue that frankly wasn't, it wasn't so, not respectable, meaning it wasn't so nice. It was something, that was not such a pleasant issue. And she spoke to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe listened to her like a mother. Today, Rabbi Say, we need and we could and we should communicate with our Rebbe, our Tata, our father, our tzaddik, on all issues, and talk to him the way it is. Yeah, he wants to hear from you. He wants to hear from us. He doesn't want us to mince words and to dress them up and cut this way and cut that way. Say it the way it is. Talk from your heart. Words from the heart penetrate the heart, the other's heart. If you speak from the heart, if you speak from the cup, from the mind, it doesn't penetrate the heart. Like that famous Chassidish word says, the beginning of Shulchan Aruch is, Yehuda ben Tema Omer, Yehuda ben Tema says, right? Giber Kari, get up in the morning early like a lion, roaring and excited. So Chassidim would say, if you go to sleep like a lion, you'll get up a lot like a lion. But if you go to sleep like a ferret, like a horse, you ain't getting up like a lion. If you talk to the Rebbe from your cup, you're not getting his heart. If you talk to the Rebbe from your heart, you'll get his heart. Kadosh Baruch Hu should help that we should do the avodah of Alef Nissan, and especially distributing matzah, making sure everyone has a Pesach Seder, Kimcha de Pischa, food and funds for Pesach needs, and we should be zeicher to the Geula Shleima Bekar of Mamish, when we'll see the Rebbe with our physical eyes and hear him with our physical ears through Tchias HaMeisim, now, not tomorrow, but now, so that when it comes the time of the Pesach Seder, we'll eat from the sacrifices in Yerushalayim and HaKodesh. Amen ve'amen, l'chaim, l'chaim, u'levrocha.